All right, so this is Decent with People News. One more time in it. All right. Never look straight forward. Always look around you. Be able to protect yourself by any means necessary. Use that Second Amendment. Arm yourself with knowledge. All right, and uh, be careful of what you say or do. Because I was at court one time, and I'll explain in another video. And overhearing a conversation between an attorney and a guy making a plea bargain. Okay. But I thought it was really interesting, which is going to follow into this next video I'm going to do later on. All right. But this is about attorneys and bonds. Is it true? Well, I think it is. Maybe I do not have firsthand knowledge of it, but everything's been having bonds. And since they are creating revenue on imprisonment, prison for profit. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. That was supposed to stand for truth. You blankety blank. Anyway, I digress. Since it's a commercial capacity, and even the Supreme Court says that when you have marijuana in your car, the Supreme Court's consider that commercial. How in the world is that even considered commercial? Well, that's because you are licensed. And since you are licensed, they actually have to put that in a commercial capacity because you are operating in a commercial. Believe it or not. Okay? But don't take my word for it. Always do your own research. Okay? I'm just hearsay. And I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. Educational purposes only. Okay?
Stuff today. This is going to be a fairly long video. I want to get some stuff out there so people can understand what the courts and the cops and the legal system do to you. It should be very informative for most people. A lot of these things are they're not, known very much. Now, when people go to law school, for example, the first year of the 8 years is really for testing. And what they'll do is they'll ask the common law question, for the people. And then they'll they'll have answers that are for the commercial U.S. system and the legal system. And if during that year they tally it all up and they say, well, you're for common law and for the people, we cannot use you. You're not going to be an attorney. You're not cut out to be an attorney. So the deck is starting to get stacked against you with the first year of law school, so to speak. And then they start teaching you the things that they need to know and all the trickery and all the instruments and procedures and BS that they're going to use to trick you to make the securities to make money. It isn't about crime.
Now, that being said, I am led to believe, and do believe, that they don't really actually explain these things as attorneys. Well, you didn't pass the test. We don't think you're going to be working out for the bar union. I don't think they're going to go that deep and explain it. So I think the attorneys that actually believe in the common law system is going to be misled and say, hey, you can't get a bar license. Okay? It's not the simple fact that they took the whole 8 years of studying law. It's to come find out he believed in the common law system, and they're not going to want to use him. And they're not going to tell him that. Right? Like some of the racist people out there, just because you're Mexican, we're not going to rent out for you. Or, any other color, right? We're just not going to rent the deal. But they won't tell you that. They just say, we found somebody else. I am led to believe that's what they're doing.
Really. There's a hidden reason. It's about money. and they're banks. So when they do securities, they violate all kinds of things, and they're foreign to the men and women of this country. And it's a Ponzi scheme that's really perpetrated against the people. Now, when you go hire an attorney, if you go look at Corpus Juris Secundum, Volume 7, Section 4, and I've said this many times, the attorneys, the lawyers, they do not work for you. That's because they do a leave to proceed document that gives up all your rights. And for example, some of the things that they'll do, they'll sit there when the prosecutor does something and they won't object. Like, for example, I know a guy that was driving a pickup truck that had tinted windows and you couldn't see who was driving. When he got to court and went to trial, they rolled the windows down and they showed the jury the truck. You could see right in the truck. And then they said the cop knew the guy that was supposedly driving the car that was running from them and that he saw him, which was a complete 100% lie. Now they don't do lies, they do assumptions and presumptions. So they got it off, he got convicted, he got 3 years for running from the police, and the police never saw him. The vehicle wasn't in his name or anything. So when they get you to take an attorney, you give up all your rights. They know that you have no education. So they take away whatever rights they can take away from you, like to object or to put in motions, proper motions at the right time, or to call witnesses and things like that. They'll forget, or they'll have different strategies that won't really consider your rights at all. And you're there and you're thinking, well, my lawyer's going to kick their butt, when in reality, he doesn't work for you. So they go on and on and on, and they'll argue about little things to make it look like they're really doing it, but they're playing a game because they already know that when the court case started, the person with the satchel or the briefcase that came in 30 minutes before the court and went in the side room outside the courtroom door, met with the prosecutor, and they took out insurance on your case. Check it out anytime you're near a courtroom and you got to go to court. Someone will show up, a man or a woman, with a briefcase or a satchel, and they'll go in a side room, and you're thinking, who is that? Well, that's the person that's taking out insurance with the prosecutor in the back room. I'm just saying. Don't take my word for it. So as you go through these things, they act like they're playing courtroom. They are actors. They are foreign agents that do not have the proper documents at the Department of Justice, and they're foreign. And if no one complains and you don't request or require that FARA statement and the anti-bribery statement, if you don't require those things, then you give up the opportunity.
A little deeper, what he's talking about is the 1938 Foreign Registration Act that they must fill out, and they don't do it because they don't want to be held liable.
To object about that person being a foreign agent, and they're allowed to pull all these tricks on you. So see how the deck is getting stacked more and more in their favor? It honestly doesn't matter if you committed a crime or not. If you didn't respond properly to the documents that they set forth, like
and I'll go a little step further than that. It's in the name, y'all. Civil Rules of Procedure. Civil. What is that? Sit and think about it. Look it up. What does civil mean? It means some form of contract. Okay?
Discovery or whatever they might give you that you need to dispute, which is everything. If you don't dispute it, and they say it to you 10 times and you don't dispute it 10 times, well, these magic things that they have set up, you acquiesce, or you agree, or you consent, whatever words you want to use. It's a reversal type thing or reverse psychology to get you to sit there and be quiet. And then you've agreed by being quiet. I mean, there's many, many, many more principles about these things that I'm telling you. Now, so then when you go to pick the jury, first off, you and the prosecutor are on the same plane. That's all that really counts. And then you got the juries up here. Yes, 6 and 6 is not 12. It's 6 jurors and 6 jurors. In other words, you're supposed to have 12 jurors of your peers, but the prosecutor will pick 6 and you'll pick 6. Well, there's another disadvantage because the prosecutor is picking people that he wants. Okay? You only get to pick 6.
Which 9 times out of 10, you're going to have some form of a government employee, fireman, police officer, and they're going to ask, well, you're going to have a problem with this, this, and this. Well, no. Okay, we want him or her. All right? But they will eventually slide in one of the government actors as a jury to talk to other juries into it.
You keep quiet and your lawyer picks it. They all work together. This is all a Ponzi scheme. So then when you go to court, they make it look official. Everybody that gets up on that stand puts their hand up and they swear in. Y'all have seen the movies where they swear in. Why don't they ever turn to the judge and say, okay, judge, go ahead and swear in? Why don't they ever show the prosecutor over there swearing in? Why isn't any of those people swearing in? Why doesn't the jury have to swear in? Okay? That's because the only people that are liable are the people swearing in, and honestly, it almost doesn't matter, because if you've made an agreement with the prosecutor and you haven't responded properly, fully, and completely, then you've agreed that you've committed the crime, even if you didn't do the crime. It's not about a crime. It's about how much money are they making on the back end of this. I promise you it is. So when they don't swear in, they're not liable for anything. They never determine evidence. They never prove anything, but yet the jury can say, yes, that person's guilty, because the prosecutor, he doesn't bend the grass when he walks on it. The jury will believe that, why would he say that if this guy hadn't done it? Okay?
And we're going to leave it at that. If you want to check out the rest, New Day Rising, check him out. All right? Because I'm not a substitute for his videos. Go straight to the source of his videos, okay? And people, start thinking outside the box, right? What I was going to say a second ago. Time's running out on me. You could just check on YouTube. And how many people are for the officers? When it's been clearly established the officer was without jurisdiction. Just saying. Why would other people wish upon officers breaking windows out, dragging your car out, and all that over a freaking taillight? Sit and think about that, y'all. No victim, no crime, but yet, what do they do? And people back it up. So to even get a good jury is highly unlikely, because they themselves is most likely uneducated as well. Diesel We the People News. Bye, y'all.